The Philly and Joe Podcast.
This is the Philly and Joe Podcast.
Lincoln Park, 92.1 City, Winnipeg's rock station. Up from the bottom, their latest. It's Philly and Joe as we launch another day, kick off another day, 6/11.
Congratulations to Brienne. Just won a trip to see Lincoln Park on the 92.1 City World Tour docket in Vancouver coming up this September. Still waiting to hear from our winners in the UK from Back to the Beginning.
Yeah, we're going to
call Ozzy and
if
Black
we don't
Sabbath.
hear from you, it's one of those. If we don't hear from you, we're calling you. Like in the next few days, we're going to find out how it was.
Yeah, don't want to interrupt your trip right now. But
Well, yeah, I don't know if they decided to stay there a little longer or if they're back now.
I certainly would have if you could have.
Certainly.
I mean, you don't want to really, take a few days to come down from that trip.
How many chances in your life are you going to get a chance, right? To go to the UK, you might as well extend it and see some more sights.
And I believe we have another 92.1 City World Tour announcement just around the bend.
System up and down.
Wow, it sounded like you were coughing.
Yeah, I had a little something in my throat there, but it's another kick-ass one. If you think you just mentioned Lincoln Park and Van, and then there was Back to the Beginning in Birmingham, and now we've got another big one coming. I mean, these trips, 92.1 City. If you're looking to win trips to amazing bucket list shows, I think it goes without saying, this is where you come.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't find a ticket for Back to the Beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There was no tickets to be found.
None.
And yet they found 42,000 people attending.
You, Joe, and me to a lesser extent, but you come from an era in radio when, like, you've been around, you've seen a thing or two. But when radio station hosts used to go with the winners.
Oh, yeah. I've been lucky. I've seen some great bands in some unbelievable cities. I think the biggest tour I ever went on was New York, London, Paris, and we had 16 winners, and we went to see REM in New York, and then we went to Wembley Stadium, Ugly Kid Joe, Van Halen, and Bon Jovi was the headliner, and we got to meet Van Halen backstage. This was the Sammy version of that. And then we went to Paris to see Bon Jovi open for the Stones, 75,000 people at the Hippodrome, which is basically the racetrack. And it was 44 degrees with pollution warning in Paris. 4 degrees. But I'll tell you, wouldn't have it any other way than watching Mick rocking up on a stage. And to be honest, I think my favorite trip of all time, you might agree with me, because you and I, by chance, I ended up in Las Vegas on one of your World Tour trips. But we took a plane full of people down to Vegas, and that was fun because half the people, they're all staying in the same hotel, but you still didn't see some of these people for 4 days.
I've been lucky enough to do 2 trips with listeners to Vegas. I did a trip to Montreal to a hockey game there. But the Vegas trips are unbelievable. And we've said we bug our just so you know, we bug our boss all the time about that still because they're so amazing. I remember in Vegas, we were there the first night. One of our listeners gets booted out of the hotel.
Oh yeah.
And he had to go. I'm like, what on earth do you have to do in Vegas to get booted out of the hotel on the first night? And he winds up staying across the street. We were at the Tropicana, the Trop, and he winds up staying at the Hooters Hotel across. It's right beside the Trop, or it used to be.
Well, the one thing is, if you are going to get kicked out of a hotel in a city, that's not a bad one to do it, since there are other rooms available in most cases. But here's the thing. It's pretty lawless as far as what you have to do.
That was the running joke.
I mean, if you said you got kicked out of a hotel in Minneapolis when you went down to see a Vikings game, people could buy in, but you got kicked out of a hotel in Las Vegas? There's a good chance.
I think there was some nudity in the lobby, something along those lines. I don't know.
Oh, well.
Hey, would you like to see Joe and I back on these trips? I think that's the question. Let Mike know. Let our boss know that we should be on these trips.
Philly Joe Podcast.
The Philly and Joe Podcast.
Rolling into work down Abinogi, westbound, right at the construction there. But on the eastbound lane, there was some bonehead, I guess, decided to drive into a pile of gravel that the construction guys had there. So,
Oops.
yeah, open your eyes when you're driving, people. I don't know how you cannot see a big pile of gravel in there. So,
Tough sometimes.
the gravel won, the car lost. What an idiot. Have a good day.
Ouch.
I'll add it to sports. The gravel edged out car.
The motorist.
Wow.
He's right, though. The gravel's undefeated.
Yeah.
It's going to win. It's going to win that
It's
collision.
hard enough to shovel. Never mind try and get a car through it.
Do you ever, I know we all see this when somebody gets a big pile of dirt dropped off on their front lawn and you see like the whole family out there
I know.
moving it around.
But
like,
dirt's one thing. Try and move rock.
Yes.
Like for landscaping. Oh my God. The landscapers out there, I'm feeling for you.
definitely. That's a tough job. Okay, cyclists, it's common, the back and forth between cyclists and motorists on the phone.
Yeah, this is a message for the three wannabe Tour de France a-holes, or should I say derrieres, who blew through a stop sign at Balmoral Hall on Sunday morning. And you're on the roadway. So if you want respect and room, then obey the traffic laws. This city just spent hundreds of millions of dollars expanding bike lanes. And we have you turds blowing through stop signs. Thank you, and have a great day.
Turd's a good one. I like that. It's got some impact to it when someone you don't want to be called a turd.
Well,
that guy's a turd.
Guys like that, those three right there, give the good cyclists a bad rap, right?
Good point.
He's not wrong. They spend millions putting these lanes together. You got to follow the rules.
It did sound like they had the high-end cycling gear on, though, because he called them the Tour de France.
Oh, yeah,
Tour
I'll
de
tell you.
France.
Just trying to get that cleat right in there into the pedal
Well, you gotta
properly.
wear the tights.
Forget the tights. Everything I wear is tight. My size.
Joe always wanted to be a cyclist, competitive cyclist, but he can't fit the outfit.
I can't get the outfit on properly. I'm trying to get sponsorship, actually, before I buy a bike.
School zones. Yes, I mean, listen. That was an interesting day yesterday. We're talking school zones, and then somebody says, they're going to go 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's just been announced. And then we realized that was a hoax.
Yeah, a lot of people fell for that hoax, and then we had some clarification.
And then it turned into the debate of whether school zones should be in effect all year round.
30-kilometer school zone should be 24/7. I've always said it since it started. Kids are in school all day long. You don't need a 30 zone there when they're in school all day long. I live across the street from a school. There's more kids in the schoolyard throughout the summer. Excuse me, sorry.
Can I just say that right there? Every woman hears that in the bathroom from her man. Let me just...
Excuse me, sorry.
I love it.
Throughout the summer and throughout after school, that they should be 30K all the time. I just don't understand why they're not. Kids are out of school all day long. There's more kids on the streets through the summer than there is in any other time of the year. Get her done. I love it. Thanks. Yeah.
That'll get some response. We'll just leave that there.
And he said he lives across the street from a school, so he wants 30 all year. Okay?
He says there's always
We
kids
really do get a back and forth on that topic. I would say it's about a 50-50 split. So
that's a polarizing one. Okay, feats of eating. Joey Chestnut just won another hot dog eating competition the other day, and of course we chatted about it.
70 and a half hot dogs and buns on the 4th of July.
Joe has had 8 before.
8, that's it.
4 hours span.
I didn't even have to water down the bun and soak it. I can't do that.
No,
That's gross. No kidding.
5.
It's
and
like, you remember the old Wonder Bread bundle of I think it was 8 buns they used to have, and yet 12 hot dogs in a pack. Nobody could ever figure out the math.
Yes,
but
right.
if your mom pulled them out of the freezer, right, and then left them on the counter for a while, and then you ended up getting that
soggy.
One bun that the end still had been soggy. Ugh.
That's where you toast it. You got to throw it on top of the toaster
you have
just to crisp it up a little.
You can't hurt
bit.
mom's feelings.
Yeah.
Billy and Joe and PJ Nation, what up? Justin the Welder. Hope everyone's doing okay on this gloomy and rainy Monday with the rain. But you guys were talking about eating lots of food and everyone else's food stories. If I got one for everyone. So when I was 10 years old, my mom took me to to the dollar store, right? So the guy can pick out a couple snacks, and they had these Reese's peanut butter cups, right? But they're the big ones, like the half-pound ones, half-pound Reese's.
Oh, those giant ones.
I ate 2 half-pound Reese's cups. I ate a pound of Reese's.
Oh.
And
I think that's meant for like
about
4 people.
I would say half an hour after, I just had the world's worst heartburn. So that was probably the worst I've ever had. But honestly, do I think it was worth it? Yep.
That's that giant peanut butter cup
Yeah.
you see on the counter or something.
Yeah.
Those things are massive.
And he ate 2 of them at age 10. I mean, just trying to down all that peanut butter and chocolate. Like, oh, man.
Your tongue would be stuck to your mouth by
no
the
kidding.
end. But they're good. Peanut butter and chocolate, I mean, easy to binge on that stuff. Okay, let's wrap with Loud Guy, and he is joining the chorus of racers for the 92.1 City Race of the Century, me against a bunch of Bone Phone regulars that is a bit concerned about some of the training times that are being posted.
Hey, it's the Loud Guy. I was listening to John with the J. He's kind of right about the 14 seconds, because when we first started talking about this, we found out the average person does 15 to 17 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Like, I don't want to take roids or anything like that.
Might have to. I mean, that's where we're at now. After so the 14 seconds comes from Guilty, who's part of the race. He's got a lane, and he's claiming he's running 14-second 100 meters.
Yeah, the closest we've heard outside of that is at about 15. And I'm not mentioning what your pace is at right now. But listen, there's not going to be any tests. We can't afford that kind of testing. So
what
do
you
what you got to do.
With no testing, if you want to get on the juice for the...
Yeah, the only juice you're going to have is that orange drink, okay?
The Philly and Joe Podcast.
You ever get into a new car, or let's not even go new car, but in my case yesterday, a loaner, a rental, because my vehicle's in the shop, and I've got a loaner. And you ever get into it, and it's like, it's as if you've never been in a car before, because you're so comfortable in your own vehicle surroundings, especially if it's a different make. And you start looking, and you're like, my God, where do I plug my phone in? Oh, like, and finding everything that you need, that you take for granted on a daily basis, is like, you'll spend 10 minutes trying to sort it all out.
Well, there's a lot more people that doing road trips that are not taking their own vehicle. They're renting a vehicle. Mm-hmm. So you try and rent something pretty close to what you might be driving, right? For that familiarity.
I would.
But you're talking about, like, if your car's in the shop and they give you a loaner, a lot of times it's around the same make as yours, but it might be a different year.
That's right.
You're not hooking up the Bluetooth for a 4-hour car visit, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I set it all up. I did. I didn't even leave the parking lot. I went to pull away, so I drive a Chevy Colorado. I'm in a Buick SUV, which nice SUV, I got to say.
Oh, Buicks.
But it just, everything's different.
Yeah.
So I started to pull away, and I'm looking for this, and I'm pressing that, and I'm trying to turn the AC on, and I'm like, no. I'm distracted already. I'm not doing this. So I didn't even get out of the parking lot. I pulled over, I parked, and I'm like, I got to sort all of this out, because I'm a little bit anal about my driving setup and how everything has to look while I'm driving. I need the Apple CarPlay going. I need this. I need that. So I figured out all the temperature controls, and it used to be pretty universal. Like, I think back in the day, the knobs, like I remember the cars my dad would drive, the knobs, the heat, it was pretty simple. It was all, but now, like turning the heat on, adjusting the temperature, each side of the vehicle has its own temperature controls in most of these vehicles now.
Wait though till the next person that uses this vehicle as a rental sees the Phil Aubrey settings for CarPlay and Bluetooth. Oh, Phil Aubrey's phone was attached to this one. I love it.
No, it wouldn't say that, just so you know. Okay. It wouldn't say Phil Aubrey's phone in there. I don't believe.
No, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think once you would unplug that, well, maybe someone can tell us. I've never. I
got you thinking, though.
Yeah, you did, but I've never gotten into a rental and saw Gord Brown's phone. Like,
well, I'll tell you, Gordy has a lot of rentals.
He's a good guy, Gordy.
This is the Philly and Joe Podcast.
Someone also wondering about the stains on the seat with my loaner car that I'm in right now. No coffee. A little bit on the middle console that I wiped up this morning. Luckily, they put a box of Kleenex in there. I'm telling you, and I know I'm making excuses for myself here. And I wondered, like, what are some of the hacks people use? Because if you're a coffee drinker, I just find, and I'm not blaming one business alone, because all the coffee lids are pretty similar, is it's harder and harder, I find, to not have coffee slopping all over your middle console at very least.
Well, I just used water and a rag to get the coffee stain on my passenger seat the other day after getting the car detailed on the weekend.
For those who don't know,
There's a great hack right there. It's called water and a tawel.
I didn't know I spilled it, so Joe gave me a ride over to my dealership the other day. And from the dealership to work, because I was dropping it off.
Yeah.
And I had a coffee with me that had not been opened, and I was being so careful because I know Joe keeps his vehicle very clean. And later in the day, when you went to drive me back to the dealership, I noticed that I had slopped a bit of coffee on your seat. You did get it out, no problem, right? That's not a stain.
Yeah.
It's not okay, good. And then I just find it's so hard not to slop coffee all over the place. The lids, I don't know what it is, or they fill them too much. I'm not sure.
Listen, we spend so much time in our vehicles nowadays, right? A lot of people, and I'm talking about outside of people that work in their vehicles. It's hard to keep anything like that clean. With the roads the way they are, one good little bump or a pothole and boom.
Bang.
You're lucky that it's more than just a drop or two that fall sometimes.
Also getting people commenting on using Apple CarPlay, like plugging your phone into a loaner vehicle. People, because you said my name will be in there now.
Yeah.
Even when
it's happened with me when I've traded in a vehicle. They'll delete, the name on the phone. Because if you look at your Bluetooth, what's paired, like when you go back into your truck, it'll show Phil's phone or Phil Aubrey's phone.
Well, I
just
can't.
in case you lose track of who you are.
I can't have anybody knowing. Phone. I can't have anybody knowing that Phil Aubrey once paired his phone in this loaner. I'll have to delete that later today when I give the car back.
For more Philly and Joe, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.
And by the way, we were talking earlier this morning. It'll come up later today. A bit of a teaser on what's coming up next on a 92.1 City World Tour. You were just talking about Back to the Beginning. Mm-hmm. That was one of our greatest of all time. This one's going to be damn good.
Oh, yeah. There'll be some... It's going to be some excitement about... When are we announcing that? Do you know?
I think in a couple of days. But Iron Mike, he likes a little pomp. He likes a little circumstance. And I think the teaser goes out today.
He stands on business, that guy, for sure. We're going to hear all about it in the full staff meeting later this week. I can't wait.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we have Todd Kearns and Brent Fitz dropping in at about 9 o'clock this morning from Toque.
Oh, yeah.
They're here for Rock and Thunder tomorrow, of course. Always nice to see, Fitzy especially is from Winnipeg, but Kearnsy's one of us, too, from Saskatchewan, right? He's visited here enough over the years.
Oh, that'll be, and they got some stories. They've been there, done that, so that'll be a fun chat coming up after 9.
And a new single for a band that basically started as a fun band that just wanted to do some great Canadian covers. They've created their own music, too, so interested in that, too.
Getting some help on the fact that I can't seem to avoid spilling coffee all over my middle console in my truck or whoever's vehicle I'm in. Joe's seat the other day when I slopped coffee. He got it out, though. I was nervous he weren't going to be able to get that out, but no problem. Anyway, Boston Pizza text line 762-555. Philly, I use a Yeti, or now I use a Yeti, but when I stopped at Timmy's, I used to put a microfiber in the cup holder, then slide the coffee cup into it. It kept the cup tight with no bouncing around, and if you spill, a cloth is right there to wipe it up.
Yeah. I keep a cloth in the vehicle, too, just on the driver's side door.
Like a rag?
A little, if you want, or a little towel. But sippy cup has come up a lot. But isn't that sort of what you're drinking your coffee out of anyway, the same concept, a sippy cup?
But if you're using a Yeti, that's tight. They don't slop
Oh, no, I've got a Yeti. Yeah, every day.
They don't slop out of the sides.
Yeah, but I don't drink coffee in it. But my wife puts tea in her Yeti.
Yeah, same here.
It stays warm all day, she says.
cupboard full of Yetis.
Oh, everybody does now. It's
Mandatory.
That could be a contest on who has the most Yetis in their cupboard one day.
Oh, you know what? This morning, I don't know about a contest, but let us know how many Yetis you have. That could be funny. But my problem would be getting the coffee through the window.
Yeah.
And then pouring
opening
it
some.
up, pouring it into the.
Yeah,
I just
I
don't
agree.
see. I could do it once I get to work, but that defeats the purpose because it's still. By the time I get to work, it's slopped all over the console. This came in from Derek. My wife must have a gyro built in her arm. She can take a regular coffee mug full to the top and ride with me down country roads, never spill a drop. Me and my Tim's cup have emptied 25% into my console or onto my console. I don't get it.
Yeah, it sounds like the practical answer, Phil, for you is to actually pour your coffee into a better dispenser.
Like a Yeti
a
situation.
Yeti or a travel mug of some sort, yeah.
Maybe I could just hand them. You see, there's those people
and
out
just
there.
pour it in.
Hey, could you pour it right into this old-ass travel mug that I had under my seat?
7-Eleven does that once a year for the Slurpee. I don't know about the coffee shops.
The Philly and Joe Podcast.
This is the Philly and Joe Podcast.
Colin the Butcher sent a photo of a sippy cup saying, sippy cup has 2 handles and a spout, like toddlers use, because sippy cup was referenced for my truck so that I don't slop coffee all over the place anymore.
I'll tell you what, that's not a bad thing to use.
It doesn't fit in the cup holders, though.
It doesn't.
It's got to fit in the cup holders. I am amazed when I see somebody with the mug of coffee in their vehicle. Like, how do you keep that from spilling?
Yeah.
That's got to be all over the place.
legit mug, yeah.
The actual just mug that you would use in your kitchen. We are getting different brands now of travel mugs.
People are saying even the Yeti type of model will spill on occasion. So, Phil, have you ever attempted to ask them to fill up one of your cups? Not you. You're always just with the cups. So some people are saying you can do that. You can go to your favorite coffee stop and get them to fill.
Like your travel mug. The only thing about that is I get an extra large every morning, and I find it doesn't all fit in a Yeti.
Okay.
And I'm not downsizing. I need every ounce of coffee for when we get up in the morning. My extra large is very important. I should get one of those. Remember those Big Bubba?
From 7-Eleven?
Those giant travel mugs you could get with the handle?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Those do not fit in your cup holders, but how funny would that be at a Tim Hortons or McDonald's drive-thru? Like, hey, can you fill this up with coffee?
Well, they have the extended ones now that have the bottom that fits into the cup holder.
Like big, long?
Yeah, the big, long ones. Like you can't even adjust your radio on your vehicle because this thing's blocking you now. Right?
A keg of coffee in the morning. Someone else, I don't even know how to pronounce this.
Is it
the Contigo?
Or Contigo? I don't know.
Contigo. We've had a couple people saying they're the best travel mugs.
Well, it says go right in the title. It's got to be good.
The go mug. How could it not be?
Philly Joe Podcast.
The Philly and Joe Podcast.
About 8 minutes away from your chance to win tickets to go to Rock and Thunder. Tomorrow night, Princess Auto Stadium.
Yeah, so if you're wondering what's going on, doors open at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And the first act will hit the stage at about 5:25. It's going to be a fun night over at Princess Auto Stadium tomorrow. Tickets are still available, including here with completely useless question in just a few minutes.
It's funny that we're talking Yetis and travel mugs this morning because remember the story about how the Utah Hockey Club, they wanted Yeti to be an option, but the company Yeti was like, no, you're not. Or maybe it was the team. I can't remember. It was some kind of a trademark issue where they couldn't use the word. They couldn't consider using Yeti as a team name.
There's so many. Yeah, well, I don't know. The NHL has so many different rules and regulations when it comes to trademarks and their stamps and everything else that I'm sure it had something to do with them too.
Yeah.
Because Yeti would have been so cool, just the mascot alone.
I mean, Mammoth is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Boston Pizza text line 762-555. I'm looking for the best solution to my coffee sloppiness all over the middle console, all over the place in my truck. This person, I myself use the 20-ounce Yeti with the Rambler twist lock lid. Next to never spill, but I choke on at least one sip per mug every morning. The Rambler twist lock lid. So are you telling me that you buy a Yeti, ditch the lid, and buy a separate? Like, is this an add-on to the Yeti? Like,
does it become like a vehicle? You're buying an accessory? Like, you know what I mean?
You're souping up your Yeti?
I want the one with the moonroof.
I gotta look at this bad boy. I got the twist lock lid. So the Rambler twist lock.
Let me ask you a question, because both of us have enough travel mugs, like most people nowadays. So there's Yeti out there. They seem to be quite popular still to this day. Okay?
Yeah.
Would you say most of yours are Yetis? Because here's the deal. Stanley came out with a big one, and it hasn't come up a lot, at least on our Boston Pizza text line this morning, but Contigo has come up a lot, and that one kind of snuck in there on me. I always thought Stanley would have been right up there.
Exactly, and someone says you buy those at Costco.
Yes.
It's one of the places you can get Contigo, and people are swearing by them, that they're amazing. No spills.
Yeah.
I am in our cupboard, it's all Yetis except a couple knockoff Yetis. No Contigos, no Stanleys. I have not tried those products.
I'll tell you what, though. There's the odd one that you'll have picked up at an event or from somebody you know that owns a business and have ordered them.
Yeah.
And you put them in the dishwasher. And then you play that game of, why won't this lid fit the holder anymore? Then you know that one's got to make its way out to recycling, right? Or whatever.
That's a knockoff? Or that just...
Yeah, it's just for some reason.
This person, 11 Yetis, 4 tumblers, 2 travel mugs, 3 coffee cups, and 2 wine glasses. So they checked their cupboard for us this morning.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The big 32-ounce Milwaukee. So I guess
Milwaukee makes
Milwaukee's
one.
got your own,
Let us know how other, Contigo, is Stanley good? This guy says the Milwaukee's very good. This guy uses on the text line the Bubba Cup.
We're getting a lot of those too, yeah.
It holds a medium coffee but doesn't spill. Medium's not enough for me, okay?
So if you're paying attention, Phil needs an extra large coffee mug.
I think I found one. The 64-ounce Circle K tank.
The tank.
It's called the tank. I gotta have it.
The Philly and Joe podcast.
60% of bosses say they are less likely to promote someone in their company or at work who does this.
Okay.
60% of bosses say they are less likely to promote someone at work who does this.
For Rock and Thunder tickets, 780 City, 780-2484. You can use me or the Boston Pizza text line for a lifeline if you'd like. Hello, City.
Hey, can I take Philly?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say I'll go right at something I do. Act disinterested in staff meetings.
No, that's good, though. You do.
Okay.
By the way, double bill on Thursday for us.
That's a double disinterest out of
right
me.
Right. You got to pace yourself on your disinterest. You got 2 meetings back to back.
I don't want to pour all my disinterest out there in the first meeting. Hi, City.
Hi, can I have you, Phil?
60% of bosses say they are less likely to promote someone at work who does this.
A frequent call-in sicker.
That is number 3.
Oh!
Number 3.
Sorry about that.
Call in sick often. Boom. Not getting that raise or that promotion.
780 City, 780-2484 for Rock and Thunder tickets. Go ahead with your guess.
Get drunk at the Christmas party.
What's wrong with that? I love you, man. You're the best boss, I swear.
Maybe that's why a lot of them got canceled. There's no more Christmas parties.
Might be. So that's not the answer.
No.
780 City. Good morning.
Go for the win, Philly.
Just not. I got number 3 with the calling in sick.
Yeah. This is a big number, too. 60% of bosses say they're less likely to promote someone in the workplace who does this.
Posts about their job on social media, like, oh, what a crappy day at work. Oh.
You know what? That's a good one, but not negativity on social media about the workplace. Nope.
Sorry about that.
That was a good answer.
Well, you see that sometimes. And
Well,
I'm like, your boss is probably on social media.
There's a lot more people that will scope out your social media if you've applied for a job.
Yeah.
To see what.
I believe that. Good morning, City. Go ahead with your guess.
Philly, you got to give me a lifeline. I feel like you have this one.
Wow. Lifeline after lifeline. Okay. Less likely to get promoted if they do this. Is this in the office? Is it politically incorrect to judge someone for this? Or is it, you know what I mean? Like a boss shouldn't judge someone for this, but they do kind of deal?
I guess you could call it that. Sure.
Bring their relationship baggage to work. I need a day.
No, that's a good one, though.
Okay. Sorry, man.
People tell you to keep that stuff personal.
But when you
don't
have
bring it to work with you.
Horrible breakup or something, I think we all understand.
Or the person works with you.
Yeah.
That's.
Good morning.
Hey, is it if they don't get along with other staff?
No, not that.
No.
780 City, 780-2484. Good morning.
Hi. Is it keep asking for promotions?
No.
No. Okay.
Good guess.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with asking for something.
It's not asking for something. Good morning.
Can I get a lifeline?
Sure. Philly or the text line?
Philly.
Gossiper.
No, it's not gossiping. But it is verbal, okay? It's not gossip, but it is verbal.
I guess that eliminates long dumps at work. That came up on the text line.
No, it's got nothing to do with bathroom usage.
Good morning.
Morning. I'm going to go with bootlickers.
No. No, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good answer. But not
sharp today, boss. Great decisions. I like the way you manage. Good morning.
Hey, is it someone who uses a lot of profanity?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
60% of bosses said they are less likely to promote someone in the workplace if they swear a lot.
Huh.
Yeah.
And swearing is just something like very common nowadays.
Oh, are you kidding? I'll never get a promotion around here.
Who's this?
Ben.
Ben?
Yeah.
All right, Ben, hold on. You're off to Rock and Thunder tomorrow night.
For more Philly and Joe, lock it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.
Please continue, Todd Kearns, man. It's not every day we have you in studio, and it's certainly not every day that we have you singing some Fleetwood Mac, so please don't let us stop you, man.
It's early.
It's Todd Kearns, Brent Fitz of Toque in studio this morning with Philly and Joe. Unbelievable, and it's going to be tough for Joe and I not to dork out and just keep you guys for like 45 minutes, but we know you're busy, so let's just start with tomorrow night, Rock and Thunder. How fired up are you guys?
Wait, that's tomorrow night?
Yeah.
What? We better rehearse.
Oh, my God, I'm so unprepared. I forgot all my lines like a child's play or something. Yeah, no, we're super stoked. It's we've been looking forward to this for a long time, so yeah, it's going to be a big one.
It's been a bit of a run through the prairies with this, too, right? You guys were just in Saskatchewan, and is Alberta after this?
No,
date?
we started, it is, but we started in Kamloops for Canada Day. We did an opening of Stampede in Calgary, then we did a one-off in Saskatchewan, and then there'll be this with Def Leppard, and then next up is Edmonton with Def Leppard.
More Def Leppard.
Yeah, it never ends for you guys, and I know. And so I'm going to ask this question before we get to really tomorrow night. Is there something in the works for just Toque coming up between now and the end of the year? Like I'm thinking, like Club Regent or something.
Let's talk money right now. Here we go.
Hey, well, I wish
work it, Joe.
I wish I could negotiate for you, Todd, but you guys seem to do well enough on your own doing that. I'm on the other side of things, but that's always been a good venue for you guys too.
Oh, it's the greatest.
So I'm hoping there's a date. But tomorrow night's got to be fun. You're playing the stadium.
Oh yeah.
And in front of a lot of friends, family, even maybe both that you don't even know that are calling for tickets.
Yeah.
Few enemies, too.
Yeah, you never know. Well, it's the funniest thing because we started this thing as a complete gag. I mean, we just started doing things for our friends, raising money for different charities. And it was
Here in Winnipeg.
I remember.
Toque really started in Winnipeg.
Yes.
It was Brent's idea to just do Canadian classics.
Yeah.
So that sort of turned into what it is. Next thing you know, we're playing in a stadium with Def Leppard and Joan Jett. It's a trip. It's nuts.
I remember when you were putting it together, Fitzy, and the name, and we're all sitting there going, Yep, that's about as good as a Canadian name as you're ever going to get for an act.
Overthink it. But just know that when we travel other places, some other languages kind of go, Toque, what are you doing around Toque?
That works in concert, too, in a lot of places.
And most people in the States, Slash, who we play, he's always like, yeah, Toque. We're like, well, it's not Toque, it's Toque.
If they're really uninformed, it's Torque. When's Torque playing? Torque.
And you sit there and go, Torque and Toque are actually pretty good, but no, Toque, the most Canadian name you could have ever come up with.
Certainly
Just
the goal.
think Bob and Doug McKenzie. You have the album, the Takeoff and all those songs. It's spelled Toque on the vinyl back then. I was like, that's how we're committing to that.
There was a talk about it being called. Somebody pitched out. What about the Toques? Like like a punk rock.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I thought, Rush, Triumph, Toque. That just seems like
you
the
guys
most
nailed
Canadian.
Let's take it back. Phil and I were joking about your Wikipedia. It's like you need days to read everybody that you guys played with.
Oh, it's awesome, though. It is outstanding.
Let's take it back to childhood. Who was that Canadian influence for each of you that really got you rolling?
Street Hard and all the stuff that you can imagine.
All the prairie bands.
Yeah, mostly
That's
prairie
exactly
bands,
what it was.
Yeah.
Which is your influence in your sets, too.
Which is still the bands that we honor today. So those were we're prairie guys. We're, we always say that the bands that we grew up listening to on, example, CITI FM here when I was a kid, were the bands that we just thought AC/DC and the Queen City Kids were the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was all the same to us. I mean, except that I could go down the street and get an autograph from Queen City Kids.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Yeah, awesome.
So now I have a restraining order.
He's not allowed in anymore. That's enough.
It's just getting lifted. It's fine.
That's awesome.
The festival atmosphere, an atmosphere you guys know well, obviously. I mean, how much fun is that? Because you see all the photos coming out of Back to the Beginning, which I'm sure I'd love your guys' thoughts on that. And it just, there's an energy, right, with a festival and multiple bands on a bill.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Todd and I have been very fortunate with mostly Slash the last 15 years, just going all over the world multiple times, playing these massive, there's hundreds of thousands of people and so many bands, and we're friends with all those people. I mean, Todd and I were just in Europe in the past month,
right?
But like that's just the way it is. It's festival vibe tomorrow too.
Yeah,
we know the Def Leppard guys. We've done some shows together.
Beach balls, hot dogs.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
The whole
I'll tell you what, for anybody who wants to, you got to follow you guys on Facebook. It's a lot of fun. You guys put up a lot of pictures. It kind of gives people a sense of your day-to-day. So I think that's great because a lot of Facebook pages don't really feature that like you guys do. You take it seriously on social media. Very interactive.
We try to keep
so check that out for sure. But you guys have come out with some new material, which was maybe never the plan originally.
No, not
but
really.
We're getting a lot of feedback about this song already.
Oh, really? Wow,
Fighters.
Do you want to tell us a little? We're going to play
before
it,
we play it,
and then we'll come back and chat with you guys a little more. But tell us a little bit about Fighters.
It's funny for us because we're such a good time, fun bunch of guys. It's a sort of a serious song in terms of like as life has been sort of through COVID and all those kind of things, how serious life could get. And then along the way, we've lost parents and things like that. So there's a real sort of like, it's a serious topic, but at the same time, trying to be really supportive about, fighting through all the craziness of life and the support system that comes along with that. So, the line, "We are the fighters. We live to fight another day." The second verse has a line that I made reference to Paul Bissonnette getting in a bar brawl in Arizona.
Yes.
Wow. I can't remember what his text.
Documented.
I can't remember what his text actually was, or his whatever the answer was. But he was some about took a few, gave more was the line.
Yeah.
He got jumped by like 6 dudes in a bar in Arizona. So I stole that line and I sent it out to Biz Nasty.
Okay.
Nice.
Dedicating it to Biz this morning. Here we go. Toque and Fighters, 92.1 City.
This is the Philly and Joe podcast.
Be a good person.
Rate or review this show wherever you subscribe and get P&J into more ears.
Fighters, Toque. I understand that is the debut. Like that.
Yes, that's it.
Comes out tomorrow. Lyle, I'm not in trouble. Lyle came over here. He goes, that song doesn't come out till tomorrow. And I'm like, am I in trouble or what?
No,
Am I
he's
supposed
good.
to
He
play
didn't
it?
slap down a folder in front of you and say, "Hey, talk to our lawyers. We didn't get that from Lyle. That's good. Listen, that's nice of you guys to do that. Debut it with us.
Are you kidding?
Before
Nice
you
of
go
you.
live tomorrow night at Princess Auto Stadium.
And we will play it debut for ourselves, actually, in
Tomorrow
front of
night.
the audience. Tomorrow night as well.
That's awesome.
Never played live.
That's special.
Yeah.
What time do you go on stage tomorrow night, Princess Auto Stadium?
Okay, so I think gates are 5.
Exactly.
So everybody's got to get there a little early. I know it's so 5:25. We are hitting the stage. So
That's right.
We are.
What would you call the foreplay?
Hey,
Who doesn't want a little foreplay?
some people say that's a very important part.
And then there's a lot of men out there like, foreplay, what's that?
I rarely make it past the foreplay.
I'm waiting for the book. The
Hey,
Todd Kearns
speaking
book.
of a book, and Joe mentioned your Wikipedia page. We were chatting this morning. You guys, like, a book would be pretty cool. Like, either of you, with the stories
can't.
you have,
No.
Todd Kearns, Brent Fitz, like, come on. People want to know these stories.
We can't kiss and
I think
tell.
Fitz's stories would be better than mine, but he
Like the
he signed
stuff
too many
you s-
non-disclosure agreements.
I did play with Vince Neil for many years.
Those alone are a book.
No, I mean, we've been lucky. We always say we're kind of arm's length to all the insanity.
Yeah.
We've been around some great experiences and stuff, but yeah, the book is a tough one. Most of our peers have wrote books, Slash and Alice Cooper stuff, but I think we'll see. We're not old enough yet, but we're
it's still in progress. I feel like
That's
I
true.
feel
Writing
like it's still
chapters
kinda like,
as
Too
we
early.
speak.
There's
Yeah.
so much more, so
and
many
also,
more chapters.
I'm really lazy, especially when it comes to that. That sounds like homework.
But this has got to be a cool new dimension for you guys too, writing some of your own music again, right after having the fun with just going out there and doing the classics and just bonding on the road and doing your own projects on the side. Usually when a band splits, it's because they are just doing their solo projects where you guys kind of combined and mesh everything together, which is awesome.
It's like it's we're Todd and I, we do so many things together. Todd
Yeah.
and I have done,
And it's
many
weird because
bands.
we can't stand each other.
But
Just
I
kidding.
think we're doing our best work today.
Yeah.
We're not living in the
that's good.
past. Like making fresh new music, playing in a band we actually like each other, and people like what we're doing, and we kind of feel like what a blessing. We've
It's
been
the
around for a
weirdest
long
thing.
time, but it's great.
It's the weirdest thing because back in the day, you'd have like an A&R guy on this shoulder and a record company over here.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, let's just make music because we love music. And
Does that make it easier to get along? Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it, like anything else, I think, when things level up and now there's this guy and that guy, they have opinions and it can change. But for now, it's been like Joe said, it was like, we don't know that we're really going to be doing anything but cover songs. And then one day it was like, hey, let's write a song. Okay. And the next thing you know, now we got a bunch. So it's kind of, why not? There's no reason not to.
Well, it's funny too, right? Because sometimes, a lot of young bands have to start by playing just covers.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have come as established musicians to put this band together, and a lot of people are going, wow, these guys do every one of these songs so well and give it your own version. And then it's like sometimes people, we're going to add a new song into the mix. And then, but the blend you brought, like Even Fighters and the meaning of the song, that touches everyone. Everybody's been through something with some family member or a close friend that song's really going to hit home for a lot of people.
I mean,
and it
honestly,
fits right in with what you guys do already.
I think so. I think even when we started kind of putting songs together, there was almost sort of an unintentional sort of like, looking at all those bands that we just talked about, all those bands that we grew up on, we kind of put a little bit of a flavor in there just to make sure it didn't seem like we were doing like, a set of songs and this weird song pokes out.
Yeah. Let's get a beer. This thing.
That's the challenge.
Yeah. This works.
Yeah, but it started with Never Enough, and we've had some great luck with that. That's on a soundtrack for a film called Aftermath that was on #1 on Netflix for like over a week. That feels like the most Gene Simmons thing I could do. It was #1 on Netflix.
Yes.
Go to kissonline.com.
He's done okay with the marketing, eh? Yes.
But it's interesting that you guys talk about doing covers and then coming out with original music, because just reading the Tragically Hip book and them having people in their ear, you talk about people in your ear saying, stick to covers. When they were just starting out, stick to covers. No, stick to covers.
People used to say that to me back in the day, too. They'd be like, well, why are you wasting your time? I remember this manager guy saying to me, that for some reason, I always remember this quote, because we had made a cassette tape. This is cassette tape.
Yes.
Oh,
You guys are too young to understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah, been
but
there.
I was like, I was like, we made a cassette tape, and this guy goes, why would you do that? You're competing with people like Billy Joel. I don't know why Billy Joel was his touchstone. But I go, I'm not. Trust me, Billy Joel's okay. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I got to ask you about the adrenaline of the live show. You guys have both been at it in front of so many live crowds, obviously. Does it ever get old when you walk on stage and there's the fans?
No, and I don't think we value a stadium-sized or club-sized any different. Like Todd and I are lifers. We really are. We've been doing this since we were teenagers.
I've been trying to get out for years. No kidding.
No,
but I don't know how to do anything else.
It's our life, So we love the crowds. I mean, and it's so diverse, and we play with so many different artists and stuff too. Like we're part of the crowd thing. And by the way, COVID was terrible for us. Not playing to crowds.
Yeah.
We had a long talk with ourselves, so we're just happy to be back.
Well, that's the
where
weird
we're
thing
at.
about it too. Like you say, the adrenaline aspect of it, or any sort of stage fright or anything like that. It just doesn't happen. It's the weirdest thing to have been like doing this, playing at the zoo and things like 30 years ago. So that when you just kind of like roll off the couch and go out in front of 20,000 people, it's kind of like, yes, there's still that impact of like, yeah, it's 1,000 cups of coffee, but it's never like it's a celebration, I mean, I think it's kind of the joy of doing that rather than the, that fear of it, kind of thing.
I think something I find special in you guys is that you seem to be just fans still.
Oh, 100%.
And you don't necessarily get that when guys hit a certain status. And I think you guys have always had that passion. And I think everyday people, when they come up to you, they can tell how much you appreciate that from the people as well. And that's that doesn't happen every day.
Goes a long way
in
You're
music, and I think it does. And you guys are just fans of music, and I think
really
that
are,
comes across.
Yeah.
So good on you guys.
Yeah.
And best of luck, man.
Thank you.
This is huge.
Yeah,
Big crowd tomorrow too.
Big one.
We got as many people calling up talking about Toque.
Yes.
Crap
love
you
hearing
not
that. I
about
love
the
hearing
rest
that.
of the lineup for tomorrow night.
Great.
So
Hopefully, just everybody remember, we are on early.
Yeah.
So just make sure you get there
Come early.
before 5:30. If you're
Come
coming
for
to
the
see Toque.
foreplay, stay for the Def Leppard.
I'll tell you right now, tomorrow night should be a good night to get your Toque merchandise.
yeah,
The limited edition Toque merchandise.
Get a Torque keychain.
Yes.
we're gonna, as we wrap, guys. Thanks so much for doing this morning. We're gonna play a song called "Broken."
Yes, great.
Hold on. I got to ask one more time to reiterate. Can we expect one more Winnipeg date before the end of the year?
Well, our manager is standing in the room, and he's looking at us, and I don't think we can say anything yet on the radio.
No, I don't need a confirmation. I just need a nod.
Weddings, bar mitzvahs, anything.
All right, "Broken." Anything we should anything you want to tell us?
That was
about?
the last single we put out, and it was
Yeah.
it did really well for us. So it's it's another one that I think sometimes we tend to try to write as honestly as possible, and sometimes those topics can be mildly serious. I try not to put too fine a point on things, other than saying Biz Nasty said this, but
Which, by the way, was news. Was news to Brent Fitz.
Todd's telling me a story about our song I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, but Broken has a similar heavy themes, but at the same time, I try not to put too fine a point, because I like when people kind of go, you know what, this song speaks to me because of this, and you go, oh, you know what, I never even thought of that, but because I think that we all feel that way, whether it's a Dylan song or whoever, a Neil Young song, that song means this to me, and it may not mean that to Neil or Bob, but
That's awesome.
Bob and Neil.
You guys have to come back one day and stay for an hour, and we'll spin some of your favorites. We'll
That'd
do
be
that
amazing.
on the comeback. Wouldn't it be?
Give you a whole hour.
Yes.
Do you
You
guys
come
have
back
it?
and spin.
Do you have It's Raining Men?
You know what?
We'll find it. We'll find it.
Toque, Brent Fitz, and Todd Kearns tomorrow night. Rock and Thunder. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Here's some Toque, "Broken," 92.1 City.
The Philly and Joe Podcast.
Hit us up wherever you get this podcast and rate and review the show.
Good fortune will come to you.
Actually, we can't promise that, but we'll cross our fingers.